Alright guys, so in this video I want to address a question I actually got asked in my Facebook group the other day, which is, can you compete with Amazon when you're doing your product research? And to actually lead on from that, I want to talk about the different kind of sellers you can get on Amazon. Can you compete with them? What are the benefits and disadvantages of being each of them? And basically, how does this affect your product research? So if you're looking forward to the content we're going to cover in this video, please give the channel a subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and comment down below if you've learned anything from the video at the end or now, or just whenever you want. It's all greatly appreciated. But with all of that said, let's get into the video. Alright, so when we're doing our product research, you can have three different types of sellers on Amazon. You can have an AMZ, you can have FBA, and you can have FBM or MFN, whichever abbreviation you use for them. They mean the exact same thing, but Helium 10 uses one abbreviation, Jungle Scout uses another, so whichever tool you use, you might see a different abbreviation for FBM or MFN, but they mean the same thing. So I'll just flash up a screenshot on screen right now of what that'll look like in Jungle Scout and Helium 10 for the different types of sellers you will get selling a product. And I want to go into now how that's actually going to affect your product research, because you do actually have to pay quite close attention to who's selling the product and which one of these you actually want to be, because it can have a very drastic effect on how your sales go, how you can rank on Amazon, and how you can compete with your competition. So first of all, let's break these down one by one for exactly what they mean. So first of all, you have AMZ. Now this one is kind of self-explanatory. This basically just means that Amazon themselves are selling the product. So they've made a listing and they're getting a product and they're selling on their own website. And that's basically all it is. You can have more than one Amazon listing for a single product. You can have multiple, you can have a full page of Amazon listings, or you can just have one. So Amazon can sell their products just like you as FBA sellers, but their abbreviation is AMZ, showing you that Amazon themselves is selling that product. Now, moving on from that, we have FBA, which is fulfillment by Amazon, which is most of us on this channel, probably including yourselves, who want to import goods from China, sell them straight to Amazon, and then when someone buys your product, you want Amazon to fulfill it, hence fulfilled by Amazon. So if you ever see the abbreviation FBA, it's just a normal, probably everyday person like you or me, just selling products on the website. So again, a very normal abbreviation and something we actually like to see. I'm going to cover that more in a second. Lastly, we have the FBM MFN kind of combination, which both mean the same thing. And this basically means Merchant Fulfilled Network, or FBM, fulfilled by merchant. So they both mean the same thing. They mean that you are going to ship your own product. You're going to list it on Amazon, you're going to have the goods stored at your house, and every time a customer buys it, you're going to ship out the product independently of Amazon. They don't have to do as much work as if you was doing it FBA, where they do all of it. So what are the benefits of these different terms, and which ones can you compete with when doing your product research? So we'll start off with AMZ. Well, to us, there's no real benefit because we cannot be an AMZ seller unless we're kind of doing vendor fulfilled. But again, that's like a whole different conversation. In general, AMZ is just Amazon selling the product, and can we actually compete with them when they're selling a product? So with some of my products, and I'm sure with many of yours, Amazon do sell most products on Amazon. We can compete with them. It's not impossible to compete against an AMZ listing if they're just selling one unit in a category. So if you have, for example, the product microphone, if Amazon have one listing and all the rest are FBA and MFN and FBM, that's completely fine. But when you start running into trouble is when you see multiple AMZ listings, maybe 5 or 6 all together, and they're getting a lot of sales. That's when you're going to start running into issues whether you can actually compete with Amazon or not. Other warning signs, as we've covered before on the channel, is some forms of like market domination by Amazon. So if you see an AMZ listing and they're getting loads more sales than everyone else, then that could also be a worrying sign that you might not be able to compete with Amazon in that market. Now, again, you still have to look at the numbers here. You can't just say, okay, they're getting loads of sales, I can't compete. Look at other sellers. If there's still FBA sellers that are getting good numbers, then maybe you can compete with Amazon. You have to weigh up like all the different numbers. What is this seller doing? What's this seller doing? Why is he getting this number? Why is he getting this number? Why is his listing like this? You need to look at product research and understand absolutely everything. If you don't understand why this seller is getting this amount of sales and this seller isn't, then you shouldn't launch that product. You shouldn't launch any product until you understand every single seller in your niche, why they're doing better than others, and why some sellers aren't doing well at all. And once you understand that, then you can compete. So That's my opinion on competing with Amazon, that you can do it, but you just need to be kind of wary of their market domination and how many AMZ listings there are on a particular product. So moving on to, we'll go to FBM or MFM, whichever one you want to call it. With this, there's definitely no worry about competing with these products for normal standard size products. So for example, like a microphone, like just any normal size products, when you start getting into extremely oversized products, which I doubt many of us would sell, you might find it hard to compete on price, because with products getting that large, you're going to have very, very high FBA fees. Whereas with the FBM or MFN sellers, because they're shipping the goods themselves, they're going to have a lot lower fees to ship that product, I would imagine, than you with the high FBA fees and FBA storage fees. You're going to have to charge a much higher price, which could actually make it harder for you to rank on the first page and rank above them in some cases. Again, that will depend, because you are an FBA seller. You will have the benefit of maybe gaining some extra rank on these FBM sellers by being more favored by Amazon. But that's just kind of the way out you need to take, is how much more do you have to charge compared to how much more boost would you get by being an FBA seller. It's that kind of comparison you need to make to judge whether it's going to be a good idea for you to be FBA or FBM. But in the majority of cases, we're not going to be shipping really large items where we can't really ship it with Amazon because they're that big. So for most of us, as I said at the beginning, we're going to be FBA sellers. Now, when we're doing our product research, this is something that is amazing for us to see. We want to see other FBA sellers selling a product, because if we can see there's 20 FBA sellers selling a product, we know it's viable, we know it's possible to do that. These people aren't going to be selling that product to lose money. They're going to be selling it because they've seen it as an opportunity, they've seen it that they can make profit, and there's enough sales there to accommodate them and give them enough money to make profit and make it worth their time. So seeing a bunch of FBA sellers on a listing, or on a product should I say, is absolutely amazing. That's a golden sign that it could be a good opportunity for you. On the other hand, if you see a bunch of AMZ and FBM sellers, that can be a big red flag, because even though Amazon UK isn't as huge and colossal as Amazon US, people aren't stupid, okay? Amazon UK is advanced enough now that you're not going to just be lucky enough to find a golden product that no one else in the UK has found yet where there's no FBA sellers, okay? It just doesn't happen anymore. All the products, I would say 99% of them at least, have FBA sellers on them. So if you find a product that has no FBA sellers, then there's probably a reason for that, whether it be through some form of like restrictions or because the item's too heavy, too big, you can't make a profit as an FBA seller from it being oversized. There will likely be a reason for it. So if you don't see any FBA sellers, just make that trigger a little tiny red flag in your head and try to understand why that is, because it's very unlikely you've just found a product that no one else has found before, because Amazon has been around too long now for that to be the case. In literally 99% of cases. So that is my thoughts on that. So moving on to, again, another point of FBA sellers and why that's a benefit for you is in actually ranking for a product. So we all know that with FBA, Amazon is shipping your goods, and whenever you ship a good, whenever you make sales, Amazon also makes money for the fees they charge you. So if you're an FBA seller compared to an FBM seller, when the FBM seller makes a sale, Amazon still take their referral fee from that, but they don't take the shipping fee and the charges that you would as an FBA seller. So they actually make less money from an FBM seller. So you being FBA and also offering Amazon Prime, which is again what they want to promote, they want to promote Prime products, you are often going to gain a slight ranking boost from being FBA and offering Prime to your customers or to Amazon's customers than an FBM seller. So again, another reason to be FBA, not that I'm sure any of you have any doubts about being FBA, because it's definitely the most passive out of all of them. But I just want to kind of cover the full context of each of these terms of sellers and why you want to be each one, which ones benefits you and which ones you want to look out for in product research. So just as a very, very quick summary here, you can compete with Amazon, just be aware of their market domination, just be aware if there's too many of them. With FBM, that's completely fine. If there's FBM sellers, you don't want to worry about competing with them at all, unless you have a really oversized item and it's going to be weird at pricing, but 99% of cases, that's not going to be you. With FBA sellers, that's going to be you. They're completely fine. If there's loads of FBA sellers, that's amazing. That's a green flag for you. If there's no FBA sellers, then that can be a little red flag that why isn't anyone selling this product? What is the reason for that? I probably haven't just found a golden product no one else has seen before. There's a reason behind this. What is that? So that's the kind of mindset you have to be thinking in when you look at each of these terms of sellers, to make sure that you're not going to choose a product that's going to bite you in the ass later down the line. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. I hope you've learned something about selling on Amazon, about product research, through this, I don't know how many minutes this is, but throughout this tutorial. Now, if you're looking to sell on Amazon FBA UK and you want a step-by-step program that's going to teach you everything with personal support, check out the AZ Academy, the first link in the description. I'm 100% confident you will not be disappointed, but either way, I hope you enjoy the free content. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment down below your thoughts on FBA, FBM, AMZ, everything we've covered, and have you ever competed with Amazon, and how have you found that competition? Have you found that Amazon has played unfairly or anything like that? I'd love to hear your opinions, because I have heard some cases of that in the group before, but very, very limited. I'd love to hear more about that. So with all that said, I'll see you in the next one.